What's this
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a 2x4. Yeah. Awesome. Stop that.
You guys want to shoot a photo or anything?
Yeah, let's actually, Joe, if you could. 4 o'clock, we got to be out of here. Yep. They're going to be geared up. So thank you.
Rile these boys up.
That's it.
We have to care about the agents.
Intention, consistency, authenticity. It was, let's see. The thing that led to it, I can't remember if it was him or me that was talking about it, but I was just saying how I'm the type of person that with our businesses and the record label and the band, I'm always just, I want to move. Let's move. Let's move. Let's check things off the list and let's keep going because that's how the rock's going to get up the hill.
Yeah.
But especially our manager is always the one, because when you're dealing with art, it's kind of like it's done when it's done. You can't really rush the art or you're going to compromise it or it's going to be inauthentic or it's going to be something that's going to go astray. Where I was crediting our manager, he's always been, we've been with him for over 10 years and he's always like, patience, have some patience, have some patience.
Right.
I get your sentiment and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But patient. And then when I said that to DJ was like, brother, that's like one of the main things I talk about when I talk at my conferences.
Big time.
And I was just like, I just elaborated. I was like, okay, from what I gather in my life, everything very important and everything pure and everything that's amazing in my life has come through hard work and patience.
Right.
And that's why I always told, that's why I told DJ too, I'm like, intent and consistency is fucking everything.
Big time.
Excuse me, I don't know if I can cuss.
No, you totally can.
But yeah, intent and consistency is it's how you make your luck. You know what I mean? It's how you make good. It's how you make. I mean, it's how you make bad luck. If you have bad intention and fucking inconsistency, you're gonna probably make bad luck.
Chickens are gonna come home to roost one day.
Yeah, totally. So that's what got us to talking about it. And like, anything that you're working hard for, that it seems that you gain resistance from,
right,
are the things that you just need to buckle down and you need to just be patient and just stay the course, and you're gonna break that resistance. The thing I think we started talking about it on the way home was, I was talking about the early versions of being in a band and how when you're in those vans and you're playing to basically no one, you're like, you're trying to book these shows at these bars that maybe a few people will show up at, hopefully.
Right.
But those are the times that you need to buckle down and realize that there's such character building experiences. It's like playing a round of golf and just shitting the bed, but you gotta maintain, and you gotta like golf's like the main, like a round of golf, you could spread that out to a lifetime.
For sure.
And like picture your whole lifetime as 18 holes of golf. You know what I mean? Like,
well, for sure.
I mean, you're gonna shit the bed here and there, but like you need to fucking take a deep breath and relax and not pressure out.
No
in
doubt.
Hawaii, that's a pidgin term. Pidgin is like slang in Hawaii, and pressure out, boy, pressure out, because when you pressure out, it's when you fold under all the pressure. So
yeah, no, I think you're totally right, because even just real estate and the team, DJ&Lindsey started the team in 2013, but only now you're kind of like hearing them, they're blowing up in this area, and it goes back to consistency. It's like, just stay the course. If you know what you're doing is true, it will happen.
Yes.
Right. And I think creators too, now with everybody wanting to be famous on social media, it's like you post a video, gets 3 likes. You post another video, gets 3 likes. You just keep going and going and going. And once you build that consistency, you build the brand, people can expect what they expect from you. That's when it really starts to turn and you find your niche, you find your audience.
Yeah, totally. It's funny, like we're in the middle of something like that right now where we're just getting our Twitch channel started.
Okay,
for this tour. And
Hell
it's
yeah.
and it's like our fans are stoners that maybe aren't really accustomed to, because like when you get to Twitch, you're one step away from Discord, and then you're one step, so you're pretty much almost to like Web3 and fucking trading NFTs at that point.
Big
know
time.
what I mean?
Yeah. You're almost dark web. You're right
almost
there.
Yeah, you're almost there. So our fans aren't quite there yet, but this war of attrition and delayed gratification, that's what got us on this topic with DJ yesterday on our drive was delayed gratification. I'm all about it. I love delayed gratification because I love working hard for something, and after a bunch of hard work, some flowers start to bloom, and you're like, wow. So back to the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/peppermusic. All right.
Yeah, go check that out.
I started the channel, started streaming the being this tour, like fucking 10 people watching. We had like 20 followers.
I was on there for a minute.
I love you. And now 2 weeks in the tour, we have 100 people watching every stream.
That's awesome.
And it's like it's nothing like. I think a band that's been in the game for over 20 years like us could take it two ways. Like, oh, I don't want to spend the time doing this. We have hundreds of thousands of followers everywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, but you don't. The paradigm's going to shift here in the next 5 or 10 years, in my opinion. And we need to stay up with it. Even with like Instagram. I remember we were a little bit late on the game with Instagram. And hindsight always being 2020, I wish we would have jumped on it earlier.
Right.
And got into it where it's like, so back to the delayed gratification. I can't remember who I heard. I think it was like a Matthew McConaughey interview or something. And he talked about this idea of delayed gratification and how he won an Oscar and one of his kids was like, Daddy, how come everyone's cheering for it? He's like, well, remember about a year or two ago when Daddy was gone all the time?
Right.
All that work I was doing then has equated to this delayed gratification, basically. And I keyed into that and I fucking just took it with me. So I was like, that is so valuable.
He was probably promoting his book Greenlight, which is also just like lights out. I don't know if you've ever read that or listened to it. It's awesome.
I will though.
Which we'll plug Audible at the end of this podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Audible, but yeah,
I'm really on it here, guys.
Yeah,
God damn it.
But Twitch, no, I think that's huge because I think it's a great way. And people love Twitter. It's hey, what's the best, most efficient way I can reach my audience? Give them what they love about us, and then also connect. And I think Twitch is a whole new line. Obviously, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, everybody has this live scenario, but Twitch is great. Started with gaming streamers, like you said, you're almost on Discord, all that.
Yeah.
But it's just a way of like, hey, how can we open this line of communication? You guys are busy, which I thank you for doing this, and
My
obviously
pleasure.
Playing yesterday was great.
My pleasure. How'd you like that putt?
It was sick.
Wait, cut to the putt now.
Cut to the putt.
Drop the putt in.
Cut to the putt. Cut to the putt.
More importantly, I need that clip.
I was gonna say, pull his reaction.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I didn't record it.
Shut up.
Pull his reaction. Did you get his reaction?
That was real.
Yeah. So no, it was funny because that was literally the hole before. Matt texted me. He goes, slow down. And it was just me, AG, and OG. So it was just the three of us. We're ripping. And OG was 3 balls off the tee, like almost every tee. Because he's learning. He's kind of having a good time. Whatever.
By the end, Miles gave him a few pointers.
Exactly.
He
had a couple. Turned a game around.
Yeah.
Delayed gratification. He just kept on, right? He didn't get on himself. He was just like, I'm
again.
having a great time out here. I'm learning stuff. I'm new to this. And immediately he had, I don't even know what hole it was, maybe 16 or 14. He was the only one on the green.
Yeah.
Dropped it from the tee box right on the green.
Good old southpaw.
Yeah. The putt was whatever, but he was on the green.
Yeah.
But I think, so we were playing super hot, and then that's when I stopped because he's like, hey, slow down. I'm like, hey, go ahead. I'll like jump between you guys, whatever. And it was that putt, and you were just, I don't even know, how far out were you?
I was how far? I was like 30 feet, 40 feet. Like,
I don't know. You were out there.
It was far.
Yeah, you were genuinely sitting on probably close to the 35, 45 footer there.
Yeah.
You were out there.
Yeah. And
was there any approach like, hey, this is going, and you're like, hey, I'm pretty far out. Obviously, I'm going to try and get this in, but there's no.
Yeah, there were, and I definitely didn't know you were filming because otherwise I would have missed it.
Which is funny because as soon as I started filming everybody's putts after that.
Yeah.
Everyone,
I know. So no, I basically I saw the line and I saw the little ridge it was going to go down. So I mean I had my read in and I was hitting it strategically. That spider putter that I have it's really it was weird. It's so weighted towards the bottom that when I first got it, because I went from a normal blade just to that one, and when I first got it, it's so heavily weighted at the bottom. I thought I was going to overhit everything, so I was leaving all my putts short. But then after using it for a few rounds, it has taken my putting to places it's never been before. But
that's wild.
But that was I that's why I hit that one, and I saw it hit that ridge and break, and I was like, oh my god, it's going straight towards it's right in the middle. Ah!
Yeah,
it
right
saved that par, but that was amazing.
But speaking of golf, so that's how you and Matt obviously came to know each other too. But so when you guys come down into this area, how long have you kind of been passionate about golf? Like what kind of, you're like, hey, I am going to hit you up about and play in this area. Like, what's going on with that?
I mean, I've kind of been golfing like on and on, like a lot since I was maybe 16 or 17. And then in my 20s, I didn't really golf much and then picked it back up. So I would say like, I'm going to turn 43 this year. So probably early, and for the last 10 years, I've been like seriously golfing where, maybe 5 years ago, I started breaking 100.
Gotcha.
And now I kind of like consistently golf in the mid 90s.
Right.
Like yesterday, I thought I was completely shitting the bed and I shot a 96. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
A lot better than I thought.
So I've hit that another plateau which is good, where I think I'm shitting the bed and I'm still like at mid 90s.
Right.
So like I have an average round of like 92. My best round so far has been 88.
Okay, so that's your goal now is so you were sub. Hey, let me get sub 100.
Yeah.
Hey, now let me get
now
sub
my
90.
goal is to get sub 90 for
Awesome.
sure.
And because you guys go back what now 6 years?
About five, 6 years, probably 6 years because of the pandemic. I don't count the. The pandemic throws 2 more years on everything.
Yeah,
Peaches Oktoberfest, when you guys played the Seawalk Pavilion, is I think I won tickets for the meet and greet show with you guys, and I just remember I was like, I saw your Instagram. I was like, I know he plays golf. I go, let me slip him a Sawgrass business card and see how that goes.
Yes. Okay. And then this is another great segue, which I was talking to DJ about on the way home, is just about how amazing golf is, not as just an analogy for life, but as a beacon for everything that whether it be business, whether it be friendship with Matt, whether it be whatever, where I told DJ this story yesterday, and my buddy that plays violin for Yellow Card.
Okay.
He's an incredible golfer.
Really?
Put it this way. He has a 1-iron in his bag.
No one hits a 1-iron anymore.
Because he can stripe the thing 300 yards.
Damn.
So I hear, before I really meet him, this was like probably mid 2007 Warped Tour, I hear a story from Jay Bentley, who's also a really good golfer, Bad Religion's bass player. He was like, dude, you're not going to believe it. Went out golfing and fucking he pulls a 1-iron out of his bag. Sean, he pulls a 1-iron out of his bag. He's, I think, 280 from the pin. Pulls a 1-iron out. He says, what are you doing with that 1-iron? And he's like, oh, just the club. He's like, you can hit that thing? Like, stripes the thing within like, I think 1 foot of the hole or something like unbelievable. So anyway, then I get to know him over the next couple Warped Tours, and he tells me about his mom's 100% Japanese and his dad's Haole guy, white guy.
Yep.
And he said that when he was growing up and young, he wanted to play guitar and he wanted to play baseball. His mom told him, no business deals get done on the baseball field. You're going to play golf and you're going to play the violin.
Wow.
And he's like, I was so bummed at first, but look, it worked out for me pretty good. I was like, absolutely. But it's so true. It's like, it's so true. His mom was so on it. It's like, no, nothing.
Delayed gratification.
Boom. No, I'm serious. You could almost plug delayed gratification into everything awesome in life.
Right.
Literally.
Well, and I think that's so obviously I handled the marketing. This is one of the things we do. And we started doing this segment to just kind of like meet some of our agents.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know what it was. And then as we started doing it more and more, we're like, wow, we could start doing these things like meet local business owners on like restaurants they own, or, they start small business. You guys coming into town, what you love about this area. And it's that delayed gratification. So just keep doing it. It's fun. We love doing it. It's why creators get famous, and they're like, you don't see that they've been doing it for 10 years. Right. You just see this little drop in the bucket of like, oh,
but why have they been doing it for 10 years? Because they truly love doing it.
They love doing it.
And that's why I think like people that get to the highest level of their craft or whatever, at the end of the day, it's because they love doing it, and they will put up with however long that delayed gratification is going to take. It's going to take 5 years. It's going to take a year. Maybe some people just skyrocket right away, but maybe it'll take 10 years or something. Like, I mean, we started our band in '97, and I would say 2005 was when we first
cool.
I don't know what you want to go first blew up or whatever you want to call it.
Had your break.
Yeah, had our first break. Thank you. Way less douchey way of saying it. Thank you.
Had our break.
But that was when we first had a song hit #1 on alternative radio, this and that, and so what is that? That's a good almost 10 years right there. You know what I mean? It's a solid 8 years of us we moved to California. Me and Brett were 19, Cleo was 20. And let me tell you, when you're in your 20s, time's moving a lot slower than it is now too. So it's like, that was some solid time of grinding, but we loved what we were doing.
Exactly.
And we were getting these opportunities of like in 2001, we got to go on Warped Tour, but it was like, you can go on Warped Tour, you're going to play on the Volcom stage, the side stage, and you actually have to help set up and break down the stage. So you're going to be like the stage crew band.
Yeah.
So you guys down? We were like 100%. But then back to that working hard for the delayed gratification. We got on that tour, and about 2 weeks into it, we were like dead. Like, I don't know if this is like, because it wasn't like touring. It was like literally like we were crew guys and we had to play every day. We were like, had to get driving ourselves in a van, which the AC broke like a week into that tour.
Stop.
We were driving. We had to play. Starting from the beginning. We had to get to wherever the Warped Tour venue was at like 6:37 in the morning to get to meet the semis with all the wooden pieces of the stage and tell the forklifts, hey, it's going over here. Get the map of the day. It's going over here. And then set the whole stage up. Let about 12 bands play throughout the day, including us. And then we would have to miss the after show barbecue, everything, because we had to stay around and break the stage down and load it back onto the trucks. So when we first got this offer, we were like, hey, we're going on Warped Tour. We don't care. We'll do anything. And then 2 weeks into it, we were like, we're going to die. We're literally going to die.
We're going to die out here, boys.
Yeah. But we hung in there. We made it happen. And honestly, none of us, I can speak for the whole band, we do not regret that whatsoever, because it was such a character building thing.
Yeah, big time.
It beat the shit out of us and let us know, oh shit, okay, this isn't gonna happen right away. This is gonna take some serious work, guys.
Okay. What do you guys think? What's up, everybody? This is Yee. Pepper Tour update #1. Finally seeing the real parts of Canada and enjoying its beauty. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Character building, I think, is huge, and that's why a lot of it's one of the things I do respect that like a lot of wealthy people or athletes or parents, you know, of celebrities, band members are like, I don't want to give Tom Brady the same way. I don't want to give my kids anything. I want them to be able to understand how to work for something that like, this isn't normal.
Interesting.
Right.
I love it.
Right. This isn't normal. Like that's what Tom Brady says. Like that's the hardest part about parenting when you have this sort of, is just,
this is not
guys,
normal.
This is not
You're
normal.
very fortunate.
This is not normal.
You're very fortunate.
Yeah.
No, it's so, we're like rehashing the whole conversation I had with DJ yesterday.
Perfect.
No, because this is what I asked DJ this question, because I don't have kids yet. Me and my wife are planning, but we haven't hit it yet, where I was, because my good friend Shane Dorian, the professional surfer from the Big Island of Hawaii.
Okay.
He's the older generation than us, but we grew up together, always looking up to him. He was always gone traveling, and then he would come back to surf with everyone, and we'd be like, yeah, Shane. But he has kids, and he tells me that when his kids go to school, sometimes they get a hard time from other kids because these other kids see him in Tavarua surfing, see him doing all these very privileged things. But Shane just says, he's like, as a parent, that's my job, is to remind them how lucky they are.
Big
he's
time.
Like, of course, I don't want to take these privileges away from my family because I worked very hard for this. And
why do it?
That's what I told DJ. So I was asking him, I was like, how do you deal with it with your son? Do you have to? And
he's big on it.
But that's the exact way, is you need to instill in them that this is, you're very fortunate and lucky. So just
big time.
And as long as the gratitude's there, I think you're good. And that's just that's an analogy for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. DJ's big on it, especially with Noah. You know, he's like, you're going to put signs in the ground. You're going to do, you know, the grunge work that normally I'd pay somebody to do. You're going to do to understand that's the alternative, right? That's the alternative is holes have to be dug somewhere. You know, they call it ditch diggers, whatever, but that's the alternative to what you were given. Now you can appreciate why you need to work as hard to keep what I've built.
Yes. I'm a firm believer in you need to have a paddle because you need to row.
Yeah. Big time.
Everyone in this world needs to fucking jump on the boat and start rowing.
Yeah.
Up you are, you know what I mean? You're king. The king's gonna sit in the front and fucking row behind all those people.
That's huge.
So
let's move into just this area now. So we played Marsh Landing yesterday. Shout out Marsh Landing. Shout out Tony. Thank you, Tony.
Tony, we love you. We love you, Tony.
What are some other staples, like when you guys come to town? When you first started coming here, kind of like
the salad dressing from Gypsy Cab.
My son works there.
Gypsy Cab. You make the best salad dressing I've ever had in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And it was dropped on me when maybe the first handful of times, we played here so many times. I'm so grateful. First handful of times playing here, I was just raving about it. I was like, I think I was taking sips of it. It was so good. I was like, this is amazing. And one of the workers from Gypsy Cab tells me that Steve Martin played here years ago with his Steve Martin band.
Yeah.
And he loved it so much He has them ship a case out to his house in LA
Oh.
every month.
Get on. You got to get on that
Swear to
subscription
God.
service.
So little secret though, I went into catering and Gypsy Cab isn't doing the catering for the show today. So they were like, we know, and they ran out at lunch. So they were like, we're calling, we're trying to get more for. So anyway, but that's an analogy. That dressing and Gypsy Cab itself is an analogy for how rootsy this town is.
Yeah.
And how, you know what I mean? And how locally grown this town is, and how old this town is in general.
Yeah. So if you don't know, St. Augustine, oldest settled colony in the United States, 1545. Obviously, the Spanish landed here looking for the Fountain of Youth.
Yes, but I heard another funny story that Christopher Columbus just got credit for finding the U.S.
Right.
But it was a guy named, an Italian dude named like Viculli Amerigo or something.
Amerigo Vespucci?
Yeah, wait. Amerigo Fuck.
He was an Italian map maker who did the projection map, I think, that also and like named the Americas.
But I heard it was I heard it was an explorer before. I think I read this in Sapiens or something. I read a lot. I love reading.
Yeah.
So, but it was a guy had come over here. I don't know if it was a Vespucci or not. Had come over here like 6 times already before Columbus.
Yeah.
And they thought it was Africa.
Well, they thought it was the West Indies.
Oh, West Indies.
The West Indies, yeah.
Yes.
And that's why so this is totally not approved, but that's why the Indians were called the Indians, because when they landed here, they thought they came here looking for spices, and they thought the Indians they thought they were in India. They were like, we'll sail that way because we didn't want to go around the Horn of Africa.
Right.
So like, we'll just sail that way and go that way. So they landed here. They called them Indians. Now, they're Native Americans.
Right, of course.
Right.
Well, because Indians are from India.
But that's why they were called Indians. And
100%.
that's why it's because of that. And they sailed. Yeah, they're like, hey, we're going west, but we're gonna hit India. Well, they thought it was the West Indies.
No, and it's so funny because I heard Christopher Columbus was the first one to get all the funding and everything
from the Spanish galleon.
And then you want to get even deeper. I have a belief that Polynesians
let's roll
came from Aztecs.
I could see it and just went west.
Yeah, like Polynesians
No doubt.
are Aztecs migrated. And think about the rhythms of Aztec, like Latin rhythms compared to Polynesian, like hula dancing rhythms and stuff.
Right. I could see that.
It's very similar.
I could see that. The only thing I would say to that, and I'm not a big sailor, I get seasick.
Yeah,
I'm whatever current or whatever, stream runs that way, I would get on board with that they probably were making boats used for fishing, and then somebody got lost and they're just like, this is where we're at now.
And then you flash forward to actually when the Hawaiians were flourishing and doing their thing, and there was King Kamehameha and everything. They were sailing on the Hokulea down from Hawaii to Tahiti just by the stars and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
So anyway,
that's absolutely wild.
History
is wild.
It's rad.
There's a ton of here. So like when you guys
the oldest.
So when you guys would show up here, did you kind of like you soak that in? You were like, hey, like St. Augustine, like how many years have you been coming here, and how kind of like long do you guys like till you got kind of into the scene and like started being obsessed with it?
First time here. Summer of 2005 with OAR. They brought us here for the first time ever.
OAR.
We thank you to those brothers. That was our first
Shout
time.
out OAR.
Shout out to OAR, Chris, Richard, Mark, all you legends are just so cool for bringing us on. That was our first amphitheater tour we ever played.
Yes.
And it was so funny. I remember that summer we were like, oh, these are all the venues we play in the parking lot on Warped Tour. Except now they let us inside this time.
And they set up for us.
Yeah.
They plugged our amps in.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
So that was the first time, 2015. So I mean, almost 20 years we've been coming to to St. Augustine.
That's
and
awesome.
It's always been St. Augustine Amphitheater. And it's all, as far as getting hooked, I would say it was probably 2008. Which was actually us and Slightly Stoopid on our first big nationwide amphitheater tour, the summer tailgate tour, which in 2028, I think we're probably going to do a 20-year anniversary of that tour.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You broke it here first.
Little alpha leak for you.
Yeah, broke it first.
Because I think 2008 was the time I discovered all the amazing, like Gypsy Cab,
Big time.
all the amazing history that exists in here. And honestly, Kaleo said he went downtown and just walked around yesterday.
Yeah.
And while we were golfing, and he said he was like, I've never really walked around this town.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's seriously, because that's what I said. We had obviously you guys had an off day yesterday. We swung it a little bit. But that's like, did you guys ever venture out when you used to, coming here early on, you're like, maybe you didn't know any golf courses or you dropped golf for a little bit, just exploring this area? Because that's like the beauty of it. I mean, this is a huge tourist destination just across the country, but even for the local schools here, a lot of Florida schools day trip into St. Augustine because of the physical history, all the things, you can see the old fort, the old jail, etc.
Yeah,
so
the
that's
Alamo
really cool.
ain't got shit on St. Augustine, man.
The Alamo's beat, but yeah, no, it's such a crazy town, and obviously now that we've expanded up to Jacksonville, I'll never forget. I was moving down here to go to school, and my roommate goes, "Is Jacksonville a big city?" I'm like, "Not big, no, not big at all." Googles it. He's like, says it's the biggest city in the United States. I'm like, okay, all right. Need to brush up on that. So yeah, I mean, we talked just before this about how COVID and the pandemic like kind of boomed this area. The cost of living was way down, and that's kind of how our growth really happened. But again, it goes back to they've been doing it since 2013 and selling real estate here since 2013, and it's only just now where you start to see the name, the Jacksonville Jaguars, which you were shocked to hear about.
Yeah.
It's just things like that that brings us kind of full circle back to that delayed gratification. If you love it and you can just keep doing it, eventually your audience will find you. You'll find your audience, and then you'll be able to connect that way.
Let me rephrase that. It's touching on exactly what you're talking about. It's a 3-tiered system. It's intention, consistency, and authenticity.
Bam! I love that.
Boom.
Done.
Like if you can stay with those 3 and keep going, then I think you have a good chance in this world, no matter what you do, whether it be selling real estate, playing drums, playing video games on Twitch, fucking whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I have to assume that's probably how Gypsy Cab got to that salad dressing.
Yes. It's only like 5 ingredients too. It's absolutely
we'll keep it a
amazing.
trade secret unless they decide they're going to disclose it. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on. I mean, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you got the show rolling in. I appreciate you. Golf was sick yesterday.
No, for sure. Oh, and actually one more thing
that
we do when I'm not going to have time today, but I always like to run out, I bring a folding bike on tour.
Yeah.
Foldy Han, to be specific.
Foldy Han.
And I take her out to the beach over here. Like last time I was here, we were here with Iration, and me and Adam went out to the beach and we'll grab some soft tops, and the beach is beautiful here too. So coming from Hawaii, anytime I can get into the ocean and explore different styles of beaches with piers and all this shit, like that's super rad. And you can cut to this clip here. Right. I got a clip of me walking out of the ocean. I'll send to you.
Yeah.
Right out here with the soft top and shit.
Awesome. Yeah. Love it.
Excellent. Real quick before we wrap up, you guys are playing. You're headed down to Cocoa Beach after this.
Yep.
Then Boca.
Yep.
Kind of how many stop tour? Off the top of your skull?
I think total we were looking at a little over 30 shows,
cool.
And we're probably close to the halfway point because after Florida, we have a few days off. The top of next week is off, and then we pick back up in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Rad.
So we'll probably fly back to the West Coast, hang out at the headquarters, and kind of not stay on the bus this whole time, and then meet back up in Albuquerque because we always make fun of our booking agents, and we tell them, like, you guys must not own maps. And you guys must throw darts when you're like, okay, the first show is going to be Berkeley. Second show, that one was a little off. Boston is the next show. We did that. There was like 3 days off, and one of the breaks 2 weeks ago was the one show in Berkeley at the Greek Theater, and 3 days off, and the next show was in Boston.
Yeah, I think last week you were in our original home ground stomping grounds of Asbury Park.
You were in Asbury Park at this Stone Pony Summer Stage. Shout out Asbury Park, Stone Pony.
Shout out Asbury. Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah,
we
big
love
time.
you.
Honestly, so little side note, this is not kind of friendly with him. So I grew up with his kids. We went to the same beach club. My not cousin is their actual direct cousin. So I grew up with Bruce and his kids, Jesse, Sam, Evan. They're awesome. Sam just had a baby. Congrats. So he's grandfather now. But yeah, Bruce Springsteen, that area, that's where Matt and I grew up. Matt and I went to the same high school together.
That is so epic.
Yeah.
There was a killer history on, I think it was the Jimmy Iovine documentary, the Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, where Jimmy Iovine talks about all those early days of producing Bruce. And I think Jimmy was the one that convinced Bruce to give one of his songs to Patti Smith for Patti Smith's first single.
That could be.
It was either that or maybe Tom Petty, one of the other two, because Jimmy was producing both those guys.
Yeah.
And it was the story was whether it was Bruce's or Petty's song. No, the Petty song was the one he did with Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac.
Gotcha.
And Tom was like, I'm not even gonna put this song out. Like, I don't think it. And Jimmy heard it and was like, oh, what? Get
Somebody
Stevie
needs it.
turns in fucking huge #1 hit.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Bruce Springsteen for Patti Smith's first breakout single she had. Bruce Springsteen had some like B-side that Jimmy heard and was like, this song would be perfect for Patti Smith. Like, Bruce, please, can I have this song for Patti?
And he's a big songwriter and that's it. Is like once I think I love that about music, right? Like you can write something and you see like Ed Sheeran wrote stuff for Justin Bieber. It's like you guys pass stuff back and forth because you're like, hey, it's beautiful, it's art, it's not right for us, but it still needs to be heard. Hey, your sound is great for this. Yeah, and I think that's really cool,
bro. It's magic. It's like modern day, or not modern day. It's like real life magic music. Yeah. So like it's just fucking like some magic trick will fit some other artist better. You know what I mean? And that's because it's like, I don't think anyone writes this music per se. It's like, you just fucking tune in. You tune into something and you're like, oh, fuck, shit, look at sick. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're very lucky, very fortunate to be in those fucking situations where you can tune into that. You can. So it's like, maybe sometimes someone just tunes into someone else's frequency.
That's it.
Oh, but it's not for me. And
no.
It just goes back to music is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's wild. It connects people so greatly.
But it baffles me at the same time. And it'll always baffle me. I'm like, I can never figure it out. It's just, I'm just happy to be a fucking comma in the whole story of the music. You know
you're also the built, like, you take music, but music goes even granular than that. It's like, you're almost one of the direct building blocks to keep music. Look at how it's just transitioned through the years and how throughout culture and shaping of the country and other countries, how music was always there. Yeah. It wasn't something that came and went. It's always been a backbone of the culture and all that. And it's
big
about
identifier.
people like you.
Hey, when we sent what was it, out into space, Voyager 1, we sent Voyager 1 out there. We sent a gold record out there with sounds and music from the United States, from the world, but most of it's the United States because we sent it out. Right. But it's crazy, right? And it's going to land on somebody else's planet. And they'll be like,
and I'm telling you, someone hit me with this a long time ago, and they said, like, you got to think about it. Music is the only art that's not tangible. It's literally just air. Because like everything, a painting, you have the painting when it's done.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have CDs and you have vinyl and you have stuff that the music goes on.
Still not the sound wave.
You have stuff that you can play it with. Yeah. But the actual medium of the art itself is
physically not tangible.
It's not tangible.
That's wild.
That blows my mind.
That blows my. You just blew my mind.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's and I think
it's like the first NFT.
Yeah,
it's just like music. It's just like not fungible.
The first NFT was in the late '90s. Was Wu-Tang? Remember when Wu-Tang put out one album?
That was the first NFT.
Yes, because it was the first non-fungible asset. Because they recorded one copy of this album in the late '90s. And they had a auction, a bidding war on it. Some guy won the auction for $1 million or something. And they did the delivery in like an armored car. And he got the one copy of this record. He got like the master recording of this record. And no one ever, it's the only copy that exists.
That's nuts.
So
now, did the songs make it off of that? Like, did any of the songs make...
Not from what I know. Everyone needs to look this up because I seriously think that Wu-Tang, they were the first ones to technically bust out a non-fungible asset, you know?
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Well, dude, thank you literally so much.
Thank you guys, man. Honestly, you guys made the visit to St. Augustine even more magical than it already normally is. So thank you guys.
And top secret, but your visit to Boca could be really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. All right. Anyway, thanks a lot. Again, this podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a great way to listen to books if you are too busy, if you're on the road, you want to listen. But also, thank you again, the amp in St. Augustine. Awesome.
Little cheat code for Audible. If you're really busy, you listen to them shits on 1.5 speed or even 2 times the speed.
That's same thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
I recently found out you can watch shit on Netflix at 1.5 times the speed.
So you can get the information.
Yeah, and it's like, and it doesn't really change the tone of the voice.
They pitch correct
a couple things you notice, you're like, oh, that was a little weird, but the shit gets done in like half the time. It's amazing.
I've done that with the Joe Rogan.
Money with this guy.
I've done that with the Joe Rogan podcast. They had somebody on there. I don't even know who it was. And the guy was just, very talking. I guess it's like 1.25, 1.5. I'm like, I gotta hear what he's got to say, but like I don't have 3 hours.
And all these things are not good for the impatience of the world that is already happening. But hey,
guilty.
It's all a big cycle. It's all a big cycle.
Anyway.
Oh, another really good book I read was The Fourth Turning. It's all about, this guy's done thousands and thousands of years of research, and he's broken it down to history repeats itself in 80-year cycles.
All right.
The Fourth Turning.
Where are we at now, and where can I position myself?
We're in shit. There's names for each 20 years. He has names, like there's a awakening. There's a you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
And we're in the chaotic one right now, and we're about to change into like the good one.
All right.
So
I'm here for that.
All this chaos that's happening, we're gonna break through it supposedly. Very soon.
I dig that.
But yeah, Fourth Turning on Audible. Check it out.
Fourth Turning on Audible. Again, it's audible.com/DJ&Lindsey. Yesod from Pepper. Thank you so much. Have a great show. Break a leg.
Yes.
Break.
You guys know where that comes from too, right?
Oh no.
We're gonna find out.
Break a leg.
Yeah, hear it.
So back in the day, the curtains that they would open and close at the theaters, the thing was called a leg that you would open and close it with.
Okay.
So you get called back for so many encores, that thing breaks. That's where break a leg came from.
I dig that.
Yeah.
All right. Signing off. Thank you, man.
Before I think of anything else to say, let's go.
No. Before we eat up more of your time. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
Much love.
Peace.
All right.